Today we're at the Kimpton Cottonwood Hotel in beautiful Omaha, Nebraska with owner-developer Tom McLeay. Tom, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for letting us barge in,
Anytime.
check out your hotel.
Anytime for you, Teague.
You've done an amazing job. So tell me, where are we and how did we get here?
A long way is how we got here. We are in the Schimmel Ballroom, which is the 8th floor of the Kimpton Cottonwood Hotel here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's the original ball. The hotel was built started in 1915, opened in 1916. And all of the elements you're seeing here, the floor, the plaster ceilings, are all still original from 107 years ago.
Not brand new?
Nope.
You didn't want to tear it down and start over?
No, we did not.
Might have been cheaper.
It would have been a lot cheaper, I'm sure. No, this was a historic tax credit rehab. So we kept all of the historic elements of the hotel, or brought back, things that have been torn out. We replicated them as best we could.
What's special about this hotel? Why bring this thing back to life?
Well, really the deciding factor for me was Omaha had about 3 big grand hotels in its history. They had the Paxton Hotel, which was turned into condominiums about 10 years ago. They had the Fontenelle Hotel, which was this gorgeous hotel in downtown Omaha, reputed to be the last place Bobby Kennedy stayed before he was shot and died in California. And the Blackstone Hotel. The Fontenelle Hotel was torn down in the 80s to make a parking lot, a surface parking lot. And then this. So without redoing this and bringing it back to a hotel that had been turned all into office space, Omaha would never have a historic hotel, at least not for another 100 years, to really have some history to it. And this place has got history like you wouldn't believe.
Anything special happen in this room?
So this room is where Richard Nixon announced his candidacy for presidency in 1967.
I'm a crook.
Yeah, it was a famous or infamous event, depending on how you look at it. Nebraska was a toss-up state back in 1968. The Republican head of the Republican Party here in Nebraska was a good friend of Richard Nixon, and it seemed a good place for him to do it. And we have a great picture of the event here in the hotel, showing all the reporters almost exactly in the spot we're sitting.
Oh, that's fun. And who originally developed this hotel? And why? Because of thriving.
Yeah, so the hotel was developed by a company called Bankers Trust back in 1916, but significantly, it was bought by Charles Schimmel. He was an Austrian Jewish immigrant. Bought it in 1920, and he and his family and his descendants owned the hotel for about 50 years. And they're really what made this great. As you know, it's the people in the building itself that make it happen. It became the most important stop, really between Omaha and maybe the West Coast, maybe the best best hotel between Chicago and the West Coast in its day. The Lincoln Highway ran right here, which down in the 20s and the 30s was the way people got across the country before the interstate system. And this was often regarded as the last place, the last civilized stop, at least until Denver, for a long way.
All right. Give me another good, fun historical story.
So John F. Kennedy and Jackie Kennedy spent their 5th wedding anniversary here in this hotel. We even have a little picture of it in the hotel. Their 5th wedding anniversary. Yeah.
That's super cute.
It's pretty. We're pretty proud of that. There's a lot of famous people going through here. This was the place, for the 1920s all the way through the 50s. This was the place for Omaha. This very room is where the events that made Omaha happen in this room.
So what made you decide to bring this back? And what was it before you got your hands on it?
Probably some kind of, mental health issues.
Yeah, because I'm going to throw you in the accidental hotelier bucket. Passion project, as we see a lot of, but this is your only hotel, correct?
It is the only hotel. So it was location probably versus use.
Okay.
As I said, when this hotel had been owned by Kiewit Construction Company, one of the bigger construction companies in the country, had been turned into all office space.
Office space.
Every inch of this building was office. Kiewit started looking at divesting the building, reached out to us because we've been developing this whole neighborhood around here. We've got a number of projects up and down the strip here of Farnham Street that we're sitting on. And we looked at keeping it office, we looked at turning it to condos, we looked at apartments, all kinds of options. And ultimately it was the Omaha would never have a historic hotel analysis that said, hey, let's bring it back. And that was really the impetus for it.
So you and your partners are really Omaha natives.
We are all three is Matt Dwyer and Jay Lund, who I think you've met and talking to later today, all born and bred in Omaha. Our histories all go deep. My family all goes actually back to 1854 here, which is when the city was created, the Nebraska Territory in Omaha. So this was, we made up for, I think, lack of experience and expertise with just passion. And I think it shows at the end of the day.
So you're doing office development, you're doing retail, you're doing multifamily. I see a bunch of different multifamily. You're bringing this whole area back together.
Yeah.
Kudos to you for the town. How does a hotel redevelopment compare?
It is much more of an operating business than it is real estate. That was one of the discoveries that I made.
Who's your operating partner?
The Davidson Pivot division of Davidson. Yeah, they have been our management company here since the inception. So that I think has been the biggest element. In many real estate business, there is management that goes on, but not to the intensity that there is for a hotel. As much as I joke, it is an incredibly exciting business and industry. There's nothing quite like it. And the city of Omaha was incredibly supportive of this project. Both the government and then just citizenry as a whole. They've supported the hotel like crazy. And one of the things that I was so excited about when we're doing this and seeing that support is that other than a government building, I think a hotel is the most public building that exists. Anyone can walk into a hotel at any point in time. You can't just walk into an apartment or you can't just walk into an office, but you can walk into a hotel really any point in time, 24/7. And that's the element I think that is so meaningful to people and why our city here in Omaha embraced this place so much.
Yeah, how hard was it to convince the local municipality, and other local investors to get behind this project?
It wasn't that hard, honestly. Until we had to rename it, then they weren't very happy. We got a lot of angst from community members of why in the heck are you renaming our wonderful Blackstone Hotel? Heck, the whole neighborhood is based off of it. But really, the historic. This was one of the very first buildings put on the National Historic Register in the state of Nebraska. It arguably is probably in the top 4 or 5 most important buildings in the state in many ways, just because of its longevity, its history. We haven't even gotten into the fact that the Reuben sandwich was invented here.
Oh yeah.
That butterbrickle ice cream was invented here. All of that, these elements and these things here, it's just such an important structure that to bring it back, to make it this public space again in many ways, people were incredibly supportive.
Give me the story of the Reuben sandwich. I got to hear it.
So the story of the Reuben sandwich was Charles Schimmel. He and his
original developer,
really the longtime owner,
owner.
And bought it and really made it what it is today. 1920s, he and his friends had a card game. He and his buddies get together. When the card game was on, that means the committee is getting together, is what they nicknamed themselves. And hence the name of our chop house down in the lower level, the committee chop house. During those games, they would have sandwiches at midnight. And they'd all throw in a nickel and get the kitchen to make a sandwich. Charles's good friend, Reuben Kulikowski, was a regular card game player. He, at one of those, said, hey, you know what? I want something with corned beef on rye. Charles's son, Bernard Schimmel, had been to a cooking school in Lausanne, Switzerland, had just come back. And this order from Reuben came back in the kitchen, and Bernard, being this great, well-trained European continental chef, said, well, I'm gonna do something and spice this thing up a little bit. Put cheese, toasted it, corned beef, $1,000 dressing room, you want to look at it. And he went ahead and served the first Reuben sandwich in the history of the world. And I don't want to be too much of a spoiler here, but the descendants of Charles Schimmel actually gave us the card table that now sits in the committee that the first Reuben sandwich in the history of the world was served.
Oh, I'd like to see it. Let's get a game going. Invite some friends. See
That
if
would be
Tom
awesome.
McLeay is available.
You look like a card shark,
His
though. I'm not
pockets are
sure.
deep.
That is true.
That is true. All right, so while we're talking numbers, so give me the sort of the cap stack, but how much did you have to spend to renovate this? How many rooms?
205,
Okay.
163 in the historic building, and then we did an additional, we did the West Wing, we call it,
Sure.
has another 42 rooms in it out there. So we ended up just shy of 80 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheaper to start over.
Definitely.
And a beautiful pool. What inspired you to do the sort of resort style pool? Which I don't know how you got the space, but cheers.
We were really looking something to make the hotel more than just kind of a standardized hotel, if you will. There's nothing in the Omaha market. There's nothing in Nebraska, how I bet there's nothing in Iowa that has a hotel with that type of a resort level pool. And candidly, we were fought pretty hard by a lot of the folks associated that were helping us with the
Normal
hotel.
Normal hotel developers
people
who
told us,
say you don't need a big pool.
No.
Small one is fine. No one ever uses it.
It's a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
Why in the world would you build such a big pool? I really wanted the idea to keep it a 75-foot pool, more of an Olympic length, 25 yards. I fought hard, but we ended up getting chipped down about 9 feet. But it still is a real legitimate kind of pool. We even put swim lanes in the pool. And exciting to me when the Olympic swim trials were here in Omaha last year, we had a lot of swimmers, and they would warm up and they would do laps in the pool downstairs, and you could see them clear as day because their swim stroke was so beautiful.
Oh, perfect.
It was just it was neat. But that
You didn't get in and challenge anyone?
No one wanted to see that.
All right, so in that almost $80 million, that's a lot of money. I'm assuming that back to the public, the local support is really the only way to get these kinds of projects done. Am I correct?
Unequivocally, yeah. A local banker, First National Bank, came in as our lead lender. Again, incredible support from them. We're so grateful for them getting involved. They believed in us, and they believed in the project, and they believed in what was the Blackstone Hotel, now the Cottonwood Hotel. We both had a state historic tax credit program and federal historic tax credits. We had tax increment financing. We have what's called PACE, Pace and Property Assessed Clean Energy. And then we had an enhanced employment area taxation that we actually were able to do over the entire district. And all of that, culminated in a pretty good sized capital stack along with some community support, some additional equity too, we were able to make happen.
Yeah, good for you. That's the other trick that you don't think about.
Yeah.
Has it worked?
It has. Like I said, the community of Omaha has embraced the hotel so wonderfully. We've been so appreciative. The number of weddings, the parties, Grandma's 85th birthday, bar mitzvahs, you name it. We've had it here in this room and our other, spaces. We built a little pool house out on the back next to that, oversized pool. We kind of went a little crazy with our pool house, but that's been a great location for parties, for events out there next to the pool house, kind of in the pool house. It's the flow has worked really well. So all of that has been, incredibly fortunate for us. The number of people that myself and my partners run into who will stop or say, my parents were married in your hotel, or my uncle worked at your hotel, or I was conceived at your hotel. You name it. I mean, it's amazing the connections that this building, after 100 years of history, has in the community, and people want to connect back to that and take ownership, if you will.
Is that part of why you did this? And whether you knew it or just instinctively knew it, is that part of why you did it?
It is. I mean, I think that Omaha having a historic hotel, Omaha having a place that we can be proud of. I grew up in Omaha in the 70s and 80s, and it was a down on its luck city back then. I wanted to get out. I ended up going to the East Coast and going to Chicago for a while before I came back, and it slowly changed. There was people who started taking a belief in it, and there was no civic pride back then. That civic pride has slowly been rebuilt as we've done. Incredible performing arts center that we have, the Holland Center. Our zoo is now one of the best in the world, candidly. All of that is slowly, and this is just another piece of it that people can take pride of. And more often than not, those same people who say that they have a connection, they'll tell me, well, heck, anytime someone comes to town, I tell them, stay at the Cottonwood Hotel. They're proud to show it. They're proud to, of their city, and that's a big part of it, I think, for all of us. And us Omaha boys, we want to see our city grow and flourish.
What's the future of Omaha?
Bright. I think I've told people more often than not, people come with kind of no expectations. Yeah. I almost just say no, low expectations, but it's oftentimes no expectations, and they're blown away. What a city. The sophistication of it, a lot of the cosmopolitan natures. This neighborhood itself, Blackstone District, I think has been part of that, elevating the city in that way. And I the last 10 years I've really started to grow the city and those sophistication and all of those things. The next 10 years with some of the things on the horizon, where the University of Nebraska Med Center just down the road is exploding in growth. They've got a $3 billion hospital, a national quarantine hospital that they're pushing forward that should start hopefully in the next year or two. We've got a streetcar that's going to be moving right down Farnham Street, right next to the hotel, that is continuing to chug forward. No pun intended, I guess. And we continue to have strong job growth all throughout the city and a very diversified economy. I feel like the last few years have established a little bit what I call a Goldilocks city. Mm-hmm. Not too small, not too big, just kind of in the middle. The Omahas, I'll say the Austins, the Nashvilles, those kind of cities, I think is really what we're looking to try and grow our city into.
Do you think that's a trend across America? Do you think the mid-size, I'm going to call them Goldilocks cities, you think there's an acceleration to those cities across the country?
I think there is. I think I'll say a little bit of the blooms come off the rose on the big major areas. Yeah. The lack of affordability in those places, some of the real challenges they've had in the last couple of years.
Do you see Warren Buffett walking around?
Warren has been here. His office is across the street.
Oh, nice. You guys good friends?
Cotton Hotel. No,
can you get a loan from him?
I could. I've told him Hunter Capital. That's the place to go. Yeah, he's been here on more than one occasion. He's very complimentary about what we've done here. He of course, Warren's 92 almost, I think, and he remembers the real
sure
glory days of this place.
Yeah, we have to sit him down and get his stories. Yeah. See if he's free.
I heard he's looking to be on Teague Talks. He mentioned that.
It's a line of people. Yeah. Well,
ever since Gachet was on it and told that DJ story, he wanted to be on.
Everyone wants their personal DJ story. Tom Gachet.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it's working, right? And I'm assuming we're a rate leader. I'm assuming we've set a whole new category. And if all those people are going to keep coming back and supporting the hotel, they've got to be thrilled that you did this for the city.
We do. We get unlimited compliments, and I probably more than we deserve. Myself and my partners will say this was a lot of work for a lot of people. And we had a really lucky to get an incredible local team on this whole development, and we were really cognizant, as we used to think about the DNA had to match for whoever we brought in. The Davidson team, Leo Daly was our architects, DLR, which started here in Omaha, architectural firm. They came in as interior designers. Our construction team, our local bank, everyone we added, really we got lucky probably and some forethought on our parts to make sure that the DNA, that the passion kind of permeated the whole team. And I will say though that one of the things that I would thought about, two things as we were developing it. I kept thinking, knowing how much attention and passion the whole city had for this place is just don't screw it up. That was always no pressure. But the other is we're custodians of this hotel in many ways. We might own it now, but this hotel was here 100 years before we were, and I bet it'll be 100 years after I'm gone. This place will still be here. So we got to make sure we do it right, but also recognize everything the Schimmel family did for so many decades and other people in this city to make it happen.
Yeah, the Schimmel family owned it for 50 years.
Yeah.
You can own it for 50 years?
It might own me for 50 years, Teague.
You going to do another hotel?
Not right now.
Okay.
No, I had said, this one was, rehabbing a complete rehab of a historic hotel was hard enough, but I really wanted to challenge myself. I was hoping there would be a worldwide pandemic in the middle of doing it, and we got that. So, but not for now. We'll see. We've been excited and want to just continue to see this flourish. And our team here that's been working on it, the Davidson team and our local team, has just made incredible progress in all aspects of the hotel.
And the other one that I didn't hear you mention, Kimpton. How have they been as a partner, and how did you pick them?
Kimpton was.
We looking around to see if
I thought Tiffany was maybe here. Tiffany Cooper, who was really our first contact with Tim, was great. Again, goes back to that DNA match. In talking and meeting with the Kimpton team and seeing how they were, I think, call themselves the original boutique hotel brand, maybe the original lifestyle brand, was so embedded in the DNA of Kimpton itself that's what attracted us to them. They fit that our DNA of wanting to be a singular place. That this is not just another hotel. This is Omaha's hotel. This is Omaha's iconic hotel. That they understood that part of it the best, and that's really what brought us there. And their design team folks got that from the beginning as well, and I think augmented that rather than buried it, if you will, or sidelined it.
Well, this is great. Welcome to the hotel industry. I got to say, don't go run too fast.
It was quite the welcome in historic rehab in a pandemic. So
again, nothing easy for you guys. Making it as hard as possible.
We seem to thrive on challenging, and that's what this was unquestionably was. But it's all said it's worth it. It's an exciting business, and there's such a draw and an attraction to it. I see why yourself and others, once you get into it, I can see the love from people.
We're very biased. We love the hotel industry. We wouldn't do anything else. Speaking for all of us in the industry, we love it. It's why we get hooked in, and we see why others come to it as well. But welcome to the industry. On behalf of the neighborhood and our industry, congratulations. You did a fantastic job.
Thanks, Teague. Thanks for coming in town. We really appreciate you visiting us here in Omaha.
Glad to be here. We'll come back.
Great. Well, your job now is to be an ambassador for the city. Anywhere you go, it's almost a good place.
We can do that. That'll be easy.